Hi, I'm Caroline Labor, money mindset expert and CPA. Today, we're going to talk about where manifesting ends and action begins. So let's get right into it. When it comes to manifesting, there are two opposing schools of thought. So you've got entrepreneurs who believe that manifesting is this real woo-woo concept, that it's all about wishful thinking, that it doesn't work, and that it's really fluffy. And then you've got a group of entrepreneurs who think that it's absolutely real and they swear by it and they say it absolutely works. So why is there such a divide on this topic? And interestingly, it's not as if there's a pool of people who are sort of real woo-woo fluffy people who believe in manifesting and then real serious entrepreneurs who don't believe in it. Actually, the kinds of people who do and don't believe in manifesting is quite mixed. So I know quite a number of really highly successful entrepreneurs who are strong advocates of manifesting and they use it all the time. So why such a big divide? Well, I personally think that the reason there's so much confusion around manifesting is that ironically, some of the people who believe in manifesting the most are the ones who are giving it a bad name. And it's because they're not using it properly. So there's a camp of people, and I'm going to call them the magical manifestors. And the magical manifestors create this huge separation between manifesting and taking action. And so I'm going to explain why that is such a big problem and why I think it's created so much confusion. So let me start off by saying that manifesting is not about dreaming and wishful thinking. It's not about sitting back, visualizing, this goal that you want and then having it magically appear in front of you or, just drop into your lap. So manifesting in the true sense is all about being aligned with the energy of what you want. And when you're aligned to the energy of what you want, there's kind of no choice but to take the action that's going to bring it into your life. Like the idea of just sitting back and hoping for magic is completely contradictory with true alignment. And, in part, I think, the reason so many people have gone so wrong with this is because when The Secret came out in the early 2000s, and by the way, I'm a huge fan of The Secret, so I think it has a really a lot of valuable lessons in it. But I think things got misinterpreted because in the final, print run of the book, the way the book came together, it sort of had this big imbalance between the idea of visualizing and the law of attraction versus taking what was called empowered action. So I think a lot of people got this idea that, the amount of visualizing that you would do versus the amount of action that you would take is sort of, 99% versus 1%, which is completely wrong. And, I can understand why the book framed it up this way. I think it was designed to introduce the law of attraction and sort of make it mainstream into society. But a lot of people took stuff, I think, too literally and didn't really translate that to practical terms. But in any case, let's talk about how you can use manifesting correctly and what it means to, manifest versus taking action. So ultimately, this comes down to understanding the alignment between your conscious mind and your subconscious mind. So in a nutshell, your conscious mind is where you come up with all of your goals. So this is where you would say, I want to attract my dream house, or I want to make $10,000 a month. Whereas your subconscious mind is the part of you that holds your self-image, and this is the part that says whether it believes you can attract that dream house or whether you can make $10,000 a month. So your subconscious mind is where you hold all the beliefs about your ability to make money, whether or not you deserve to make money, whether or not you see yourself as a productive and successful person. And it's all of those beliefs that drive whether you're going to achieve those goals that are in your subconscious mind. That are in your conscious mind. And so I want you to kind of picture that, if somebody is going after $10,000 a month in their business, which I know so many coaches and entrepreneurs are shooting for, But if you have a really strong belief in your subconscious mind that says you can't earn money, no one in your family's ever made that kind of money, it would be so greedy of you to want to make that kind of money, those thoughts are going to pull you down, and the pull of those beliefs is so strong that it's going to make you self-sabotage and not go after, those goals with all of your effort and all of your ability. And so when it comes to manifesting, I want to look at a really simple and practical example of, the two camps. So there's the magical manifestors, and then what I'm going to call the masterful manifestors. So the people who really get it right. And let's highlight the difference. So using that example of trying to go after $10,000 a month. And so in the magical manifesting camp, typically what these people would do is they would say, okay, I've absolutely got a goal. It's to make $10,000 a month. And I'm not going to trouble myself at all with how that money is going to come to me. I'm going to write $10,000 a month on a piece of paper, stick it up on my wall, look at it every day, feel really grateful that I have it. And I'm going to recite affirmations around it. So I'm going to say, it's so easy for me to make $10,000 every month. I'm so grateful that it comes to me so easily. And these people are then going to say, all right, well, I'm going to go out and do some dream building. So I'm going to think about what I'm going to do once I have that money. And they might sit down, for an hour, write out a list of what they would spend all of that money on, what their dream life might look like. And then they might go out, go for a drive, walk through the shops and say, well, I feel so good about money. I'm going to buy myself a new outfit for when I'm giving my next talk and I'm up on stage. After I've made this money, I'm going to, need to give all these talks. And they might drive around, look at some beautiful houses and say, yep, I'm dead set on buying that kind of house. And then they come back home and, it's by that time the sun's gone down. And so it's too late to get on the phone, speak to people or, do any actual work on their business. So we're going to leave that till tomorrow. But, feeling really good about the $10,000. And so I don't know if you're getting the picture here, but individually, so all of those actions that I talked about, well, most of them, there's nothing wrong with that. So, I'm ultimately a money mindset and energy coach. So I am always teaching people about how to get their energy right. And I would totally say to do a lot of those things. But the big piece that was missing, so, as we ran through the routine of that day, the one thing that was missing there was solid action towards making the $10,000. And, it's not out of laziness because that person still went out and still did things that they thought were bringing them closer to the energy of that $10,000. But what would really be going on beneath the surface for that person is that they really wanted that outcome. So they're doing all the feel-good things, all the magical manifesting type things around bringing in $10,000. But there's something holding them back from doing any solid work towards it. So, anything around maybe talking to leads or maybe doing some sales calls, no, that stuff just feels really uncomfortable and it's terrifying. And the reason for that is because whatever beliefs they hold in their subconscious mind, it's telling them that they're not really going to make that money. And so they're going through this process of self-sabotage where they're sort of taking these actions that feel like they're, contributing towards achieving the goal, but in reality, they're not. It's just a way of filling the time, keeping yourself busy, but it's not actually, shifting sands and bringing you closer towards that $10,000. And it's ultimately because you've got beliefs deep down that say, well, you're not really a business owner, you can't really do that. And so it's kind of a way for your mind to trick yourself into thinking that it's working towards something, but really it's not. It's pulling you away from it because deep down you don't really believe that you deserve to have that outcome. So really for that person, I would say their energy is not aligned to making $10,000 at all. Their energy is aligned with wishing and dreaming and magical manifesting. And the thing is, a lot of people will keep doing that until they get a big enough wake-up call. So, after so many months of not making any money, that person might be faced with the prospect of either really doing something about their business or going out and getting a job. And that's usually when they start to look for a different way. So let's now talk about the masterful manifestor, and let's look at what their daily routine looks like instead. So both people usually start off in the same position, meaning they've both got the goal of making $10,000 a month. Now, the person whose energy is actually aligned to making that $10,000 and who is going to manifest properly will start to get inspiration for things that they can do to grow their business. So they might decide to start making some videos for their audience. So, maybe hopping on a Facebook Live and talking about whatever it is that they offer perhaps coaching in. And so this gets people interested in their content, and people start to engage and conversations start to happen. And then, it doesn't take too long before sales calls start to get booked in. So, there's some real action happening here. And then look, this person might have a huge fear of sales calls, but they decide, you know what, this is an inevitable path for me to basically close my sales. So I'm going to practice a couple. And then if I don't close those sales, maybe I'll go out and get some help. And so that person might get a coach and get some help with not only the tactical part of sales calls, but mastering the energy around getting over that fear of sales, which is actually the bit that stops most people. It's not, reading from a sales script. And so they're prepared to take imperfect action. So they're not a master of sales calls yet, but they get on the phone anyway. They take those bookings, they get on, and before you know it, they have done a bucket load of sales calls and they've signed up 10 clients at $1,000 each. And so guess what? They've made their $10,000 for the month. So what you see from this example is that the action generated the result. So this person didn't, sit around and wait for $10,000 to drop into their lap. They used their time productively. And so, the daily routines of both of those people, the magical manifestor and the masterful manifestor, they were completely different. But what I want you to understand is that even though it was the action that ultimately led to the result, being able to take that action was actually manifested through that person's energy. So that person had enough belief and drive sitting there to say, you know what, I'm going to have a go. So what I say to people is that if you want to know whether you're on the right path with manifesting, so I get that question, which was the topic of today's video, like where does manifesting end and where does action start? And my answer is that if you're manifesting correctly, then they are one and the same. So what you want is aligned with that energy of taking action. And this is where I always say, don't be afraid to run with imperfect action, because the way you're going to master your skills is by having a go. It's extremely rare that somebody starts off being a perfect public speaker or a perfect sales consultant. Like, these are all skills that if you're an entrepreneur and you start off as a solo entrepreneur, then these are things you're going to have a go at yourself. And so if you want to know whether you're on the right path with manifesting, then the best way to test that is to try and take some action. And here's the thing. If you encounter some resistance or you encounter what feels like failure, so, maybe you do 10 sales calls and you don't close a single one, then this is giving you, a hint that maybe your energy is off, like it's making you feel like, you're doing something wrong. Maybe this isn't meant for you. But what I would say here is that this is part of the process. So the fact that something feels like it's off energetically is actually just a sign that you've got something there to fix. And if you hone in on this energy, you will get really clear about what it is that you have to fix. Like, it's letting you know through that bad feeling. So don't ever take this as proof that you should quit, or walk away. Actually, it's just feedback. It's either feedback from the market that maybe your message or your offer isn't resonating, or it's, you know, feedback that you should refine your skills in a particular area, or just feedback that you have to keep going for a bit longer. So, you know, there's no actual thing as failure. Like, you either win, you get the outcome that you want, or you learn. So anytime you feel that you're failing, take it as a learning opportunity, and, you know, either try and learn yourself or take the fast path and go and get a coach. Find somebody who has done that before, who's successful at it, and let them mentor you. Basically, if you're able to do this, so if you get into this flow of taking imperfect action, then you are ultimately going to start to see improvement. And so what I suggest that you do is to take that imperfect action and work on your energy at the same time. So still do the feel-good things, you know, use the affirmations, go through, set your goals, visualize your goals, but it's all about getting that balance right. You know, don't spend, if you're going to work for 8 hours a day, don't spend 7.5 hours visualizing and thinking about the outcome that you want and then leaving 30 minutes to take action. I'd actually flip it. Have a quick and effective, you know, mindset visualization routine. And if you don't have one, you can get in touch with me and I'll give you one. And then devote the rest of your time to action. And the action is what is going to lead you back into the right energy. And then you will get that flow of manifesting happening for you, working in the right way, and then you will absolutely start to see results. So give that a go and let me know how that works out for you. Thank you so much for watching. If you liked today's video, be sure to hit that thumbs up button and leave any questions, comments, or video ideas in the comments below. And most importantly, hit that subscribe button and that bell notification. Also, if you're interested in my free money mindset training, click on the link in the first comment below and it'll take you to a page where you can enter your name and email so I can send it straight to you. See you next time.